Hey guys, I spent like 20 hours at home making this. I was thinking maybe we could hang this up, maybe put it over there, maybe put it behind me something. You know, Clara's always excited about PUBG. I was thinking maybe we could put some Fortnite in here. Oh, we're just doing CS today? All right, but maybe next week? So on today's episode, as we teased last week, it's going to be all about the Intel Extreme Masters in Sydney, as we're going to be recapping the tournament from beginning and of course till the end. We got to sit down with Team Liquid on top of that and do a segment we like to call This or That. And of course, like every week, we have our news and our social media. So let's kick off today's episode here of the World of Esports. The wait is finally over. It is finally time for the 16 teams from all around the world to kick off the Intel Extreme Masters Sydney. And what a better way to start than taking a look at how the group stage went down.
Last year, it was all about FaZe Clan in the Kudos Bank Arena.
Sydney, Australia! FaZe are your Intel Extreme Masters champions!
However, much has changed since then, and the battle to become IEM Sydney's next champion is fierce. So let's see who got out of the group stage. When it comes to Group A, it surely wasn't a surprise that Team Liquid began their journey on a high note and quickly dealt with the Asian team Boot Dreamscape 16-9.
But Splashkey and Bulbasaur have barely any HP to play with, and unless Splashkey hits a nice shot with the orb, you'd have to expect this is going to go the way of Nitro, and it does. It's 9-6 at the end of the half.
And later crushed Big 2-0, thus being now only one step away from reaching the semifinals.
Know where God B is, and this will be a free frag for him, but Naf doing the work against Tabston. Knows roughly where God B is, so just has to buy his time dancing around. Takes the peek and he hits the headshot as well. Goodness me, it couldn't get any worse for Big, could it?
Now their only obstacle were Ninjas in Pajamas, who earlier sent Renegades to the lower bracket.
It's JKS to go down, and now Azure and Gratisfaction have the clutch of all times on their hands if they win the round, but it's 16-12, NIP.
But speaking of the Renegades, IEM Sydney surely wasn't a good tournament for them. Many hoped that Azure and his crew had the ability to go far and repeat their success from Katowice, but this time it was too much. Painful defeats from the hands of NIP and then Mouse Sports meant that Renegades wouldn't be able to play in front of their home crowd.
As the bomb crosses, he will drop it. They can still pick it up. And the bomb still can go down, but JKS decides to peek out to take the fight. It's not looking good right now. Now Sports go to 15, and Renegades, well, they're looking at dropping that first map.
However, even though the updated Mice squad was once again proving that they're back in the game, they still were 1 foot out of the tournament due to a close loss in their opening game against Big.
1-on-4. And they're already checking deep towards CT with Gompy so far up. Not spotted from Coffin. That gives them a chance, but the trade immediately as Gompy wraps back around. They just get across the line.
But they didn't waste their second chance and utterly destroyed Big in their second clash, taking the series 2-0 with a 16-2 and 16-4 scoreline, which secured their spot in the quarterfinals with a chicken train.
There's a lot of chickens on Biome, and they spawn very quickly. So you could leave the room, come back in, grab more chickens, leave again, come back in. And eventually you just have a train of chickens. It's great.
That's fantastic. Wow.
And they would have probably gotten me more rounds than Big did.
And going back to Team Liquid, it turns out that NIP wasn't too much of a problem, which gave them quite an easy semifinal spot.
One on the bomb side here that can make much of a difference, although let's get right and Rez. Well, I might as well eat my words, because having rotated up, he actually does shut down 2, twists another. And we're into a 1v1. Naf needs to make the difference. He knows where Dennis is. Has the HP to play with as well. The bomb still needs to be collected and planted by Dennis with only 28 seconds left on the clock here. Naf finishes it off, man. How could I have ever doubted him?
Over in Group B, things surely weren't looking good for FaZe Clan. The reigning Sydney champions not only had to face roster shaking, but also visa issues, which meant that their initial matches would be played without Nico and Adren, with Ustilo and later Yanko, their coach, as replacements. And even though they were able to win their first game against Chiefs,
Oh, the 2K! That's what we needed to see, but a little bit too late. Unfortunately, they both line up. Got us a little bit excited for a second, but all of us said I was one better to shut out the rounds.
NRG Esports later showed them the way to the lower bracket and into the jaws of Greyhound Gaming. The battle was intense.
Going to retake tunnels, but Rain here fighting at window, looking for B-ramp control. He's almost got it as well. The 3K. Sicko falls, and this is no good for Greyhound, but what a play. Fighting again, it's Guardian to finish.
But after a 3-map duel, Dick Stacy and his crew finished this tragic spectacle and sent FaZe Clan home.
20 seconds though, they need to make a decision, and Urkar stands in the way with a Famish shutting the door. Can he hold it though? Urkar finds the first, there's the bomb, 10 seconds, and the B-side in their hands. They still need to get the bomb, the smoke's in the way, and Greyhound, they're about to do it. There's no time, Matic. They're making their way, Urkar goes down, but they cannot plant, and Greyhound are going to the final game of the lower bracket.
And what a way to close it out. Neil doesn't even care about the headphones.
And to wrap it all up, let's just say that Fnatic won't be the crowd's favorites at the arena. After taking down Chiefs,
It's not something that we want. What is Brolin doing? 4 kills for Brolin. It started off so well for the Chiefs, but they have not been given a single chance in that round. They've all lined up for him.
and then FaZe's rivals, Greyhound Gaming.
Playing for an ace? I take that back, excuse me. He's playing for 4, but he's certainly playing for Greyhound's tournament life.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely possible. Twist with just 12 points of health. Dexter's feeling it. He wants to take these jewels. They'll have a little pick now. Spots the head of Twist. He brings it down to the 1 versus 1. And looks like he's done enough, but no. Crims denies it all. Is there enough time without the kip? It looks like it's fine, Matthew. That's going to be it now. And Fnatic do get the 16th round. You have to say, though, that's an excellent performance.
Yeah.
A great show of mental fortitude from the Greyhound boys.
The boys from Sweden were named the Aussie Killers, as thanks to them, we wouldn't see any Australian teams play in front of their fans.
So with Liquid and Energy now straight through to the semifinals as they took their own group, it was time to find out who their opponents would be.
Sixteen teams arrived in Australia ready to battle, but only 6 have made it into the playoffs at IEM Sydney 2019. The group stage saw some dire moments, but that's all in the past now as we head into the quarterfinals. The first duel of the day was Mousesports versus MIBR. It's hard to believe, but these two lineups have never faced each other in a tournament like this, which made the results of the clash hard to predict. First came Mirage, and playing on the T side, Mousesports did not take any hostages. But their initial momentum was quickly crippled by the Brazilian team, who slowly but surely built up their score. And as the Mice struggled as the game went on, it was all about Made in Brazil, who took the game into overtime and then sealed the deal.
He's got off the bomb. MIBR, they're going to miss, but what?
Map 2 brought the teams to overpass. Here, Mousesports saw their defense crumble after a constant beating by MIBR, and the yellow-clad Brazilians almost took full control during the first half, with Coldzera and Fur leading the charge.
Coldzera! It's the ace clutch!
This ultimately pushed their opponents out of IEM Sydney and secured their spot in the semifinals,
Of course, it would be Coldzera.
with Taco being pretty confident about the later stages.
So looking at the Intel Extreme Masters here in Sydney, are you guys going to go all the way?
Of course, we have done this in 2017 and we are looking forward to win IEM Sydney another time. It's just an amazing tournament. We love being here, we love the crowd, we love the stage, we love everything here. So it would be amazing to lift the trophy once again.
The grand Swedish derby between Ninjas in Pajamas and Fnatic during the second quarterfinal was nothing short of a Herculean marathon. These two once great teams with an unmistakable legendary status have been struggling to return to past form, but judging by this quarterfinal, they may be back on track. The first strike belonged to Fnatic. Their attacks chipped away on NIP's defense as the Ninjas struggled to find an answer, losing as many as 12 rounds in the first half. This commanding lead was something GetRight and his crew weren't able to reclaim, and soon had to give up the first point to Fnatic. And just when everyone thought that Overpass would end up in the same fashion,
You can see the coach, Bitter, he can't even watch at this point. He can't even watch, Matt.
NIP secured overtime. Not once,
It'll be Rez now, who's been playing so well here, but they know exactly where he is. Luckily, a player is low, but it doesn't seem to matter.
not twice.
And he's going to try and go above. Oh, does he ever get right down? He might deny the ball. He's above. He got it. He just got it on the last swing. Ball is dropped, and JW somehow fights like bro.
What a shot up close. What a play overall. Experience reigns supreme.
But 3 whole times, the Ninjas wouldn't give up, led by Rez's exceptional display, and with Forrest finally taking it to Dust 2.
He knows Exist is there and he doesn't need to repeat it. Exist has to get aggressive. He has to get close and he will. He'll shut him down. He'll go back. He's got a kick, but I don't know if he's got the time. This one might be too far gone. It is. We are going to Dust 2.
The last map of the series looked to go the way of the Ninjas, but Fnatic clawed back, and once again, the teams had everyone on the edge of their seats. After 2 bouts of overtime on Dust 2, Fnatic finally took the series 2-1.
He's got 2 on the wall, not looking. And if he goes now, he's got a massive chance. First off, and he's second to quad and twist, but he shuts it down and turns for the deagle. And Fnatic turn in the round and the game.
After 115 rounds, a roller coaster of emotions and something that will go down as one of the best matches in CSGO history, IEM Sydney has so far delivered some truly unforgettable moments.
So we're going to be looking at some news now, and particularly Virtus Pro, as last week they had a roster change with Pavel Bialy-Belinsky leaving the team. The earlier rumors have therefore been confirmed, with Bialy himself later explaining that they couldn't agree on the general principles for the team with the rest of the squad and decided that it'd be better to leave instead of worsening this atmosphere. Bialy will be replaced by Mikhail Okulishis-Glovati, who previously played for Euronics. Last Tuesday, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Denmark, visited the Astralis headquarters at the Refresh Entertainment office. Now, the Prime Minister is known to be a big supporter of esports and is also a big fan of Astralis. That's why during the visit, he clearly stated that esports is also sports and is the future and that the government will continue to promote esports in Denmark. Now, the Prime Minister also congratulated the team after the recent success and eventually concluded with a friendly CSGO game. So it started off as an early April Fool's joke, but recently Razer, the company known for manufacturing gaming equipment, has announced that they will make a gaming toaster. Yes, a gaming toaster. It is not known when Project Breadwinner will be released. Is this actually news, or is this you guys messing with me? But Razer has already launched a poll to see which features the players and users would like to see in the gadget, including things like automatic bread loader or the ability to engrave companies' logos or player names onto the bread. With now their opponents decided, we had Liquid up against MIBR and Energy up against Fnatic after a crazy match they had before up against NIP. So let's see now who made it through to the grand finals and who potentially would be lifting that trophy.
The atmosphere in the Kudos Bank Arena was electric as the IEM Sydney 2019 semifinals were underway. First, it was Team Liquid taking on Made in Brazil. With no Astralis in attendance, Liquid were looking to break their second place curse. First up was Mirage, and it started off in favor of MIBR as they won the pistols and the following 2 rounds. But then Team Liquid responded. Elige led the charge, bringing them into the lead before swapping sides. The North American team stayed on a winning streak and won 6 rounds in a row and took the first map 16-10. coldzera and his teammates were helpless on the CT side on map 2 Nuke, as MIBR lost the first 5 opening rounds. However, the Brazilians fought tooth and nail, winning 8 of the next 9 rounds, but Team Liquid's Twists ultimately led his team to a win, knocking the Brazilians out of IEM Sydney 2019.
Team Liquid will be your first team through to the grand final at Kudos Bank Arena, and they look now to fulfill their destiny as the second best team in the world, but definitely the best team at IEM Sydney. 1 match remains for them.
You could get that notch in your belt now. Is this your year for the Intel Grand Slam?
Yeah, I think it is. If it's not this year, I don't think it'll be ever. So we're really trying our hardest this year, and we have all the support in the world to do it. So this is definitely the year for us.
In the second semifinal, NRG Esports faced Fnatic. It all started off on Inferno with a close first half, but after swapping sides, it was all Fnatic. The Swedes dominated their opponents on the CT side, with Brawlin being on fire. Fnatic closed the map 16-11, and it was now time for NRG's pick, Train. A close game was on the cards again, but after halftime, NRG demolished their opponents with their CT side, leveling the score. The crowd in the Kudos Bank Arena was surely wondering whether they would be watching a North American Grand Final, but the Scandinavians didn't let it happen. And with Crim's great performance on Mirage, Fnatic won the map 16-10.
Runs in, he knows it's over. Broland closes it. They want revenge for Starladder, and it's Liquid they have to go through.
Setting the stage for a Team Liquid versus Fnatic Grand Final at IEM Sydney 2019.
Marvel vs. Capcom or X-Men vs. Street Fighter? Street Fighter or King of Fighters? It's all these questions to ask. Luckily, we got to sit down with Team Liquid and do the segment we like to call This or That.
CT, and sometimes I find myself being like a pretty good passive player, so I like being able to hold angles individually, and being on the CT side allows me to do that.
I like the T side better just because I like making the plays and having like the control over the game, and I just like the AK more.
Playing on my own. I'm not the biggest fan of streaming, and I prefer just like put my hours into DMing and focusing on myself.
I prefer to play on my own just because when I stream I don't get too many viewers, so it's kind of disappointing, but I also like just focusing on my own game and not having people critique every single thing I do, so I like to just focus on my own game.
USP. Honestly, I hate getting killed by the clock sometimes because I'm not sure if the player is actually aiming at me or not. So USP is usually a sign of like skill, and if you're hitting like USP headshots, then it usually means that you're actually aiming. So
I think the USP because it's more satisfying getting kills with it, in my opinion. I would say 1.6, really, just because growing up I always played the game, like that was my game to go to when I was younger, and I think I had the most memories in that game, and that was when I actually had a lot of fun playing CS. Like CSGO is more competitive and like more of a job now, you know, and I think 1.6 was like, I was so excited to get on all the time when I was younger, when I got off school and stuff like that. And I just like the maps and like how simplistic they were, and yeah, I just enjoyed the game a lot.
I mean, I'm from this generation, so I'm gonna have to say CSGO, but so as him, I had the same feeling every time. I mean, I literally like sometimes stayed home from school and lied that I was sick to play Counter-Strike, so just that a special game. I feel like close games are more rewarding than say like, especially if you're playing versus a good team, it's pretty rewarding to win. And if it's like a blowout, it's kind of just like, you know, it's better to have a game when both teams are playing their best and it looks the best. It's probably the best to rewatch and it's best for the audience. So
I would say easy game just because I like blowing my opponents out the water. More satisfying.
As a player, obviously like getting like blowing out the enemy is like probably way better. But looking back at like games and stuff, I've always liked the closer games because it's just like a true representation of like skill from both teams. And it's like you definitely know that both teams are like playing their best to win, you know, and they're giving it their all. I play most of the A bomb sites on maps, and I just like having a lot of space to move around.
Yeah, I prefer the A bomb site just because I think it's a bigger site, and I think it allows you to work with your teammates more and forces more teamwork, and I enjoy that aspect of the game.
Definitely LAN. I think LAN is a true representation of like teams, and yeah, having that like 5 ping is such a big difference. You definitely know like all your shots. Like if you shoot someone in the head and like they die, I mean you got it. And if you like miss, then you know like it wasn't something else playing in the factor. Like it's just your aim, and you need to improve. But yeah, LAN is just way better than online in pretty much every aspect.
Yeah, I prefer LAN just because I think it's, like he said, it's just a true representation of skill, and I also like the other player being scared, like an outside factor of like having nerves and stuff like that, and I just think it shows their true player skill and stuff like that, and I don't know. It just feels a lot better in the game, obviously, because you have 0 ping.
I don't know. I've been using the XM lately, and I'm definitely headshotting people way more with shotguns than SMGs for sure.
I would say shotgun just because I'm pissed when I get killed by a shotgun. I'm just like, what just happened? Because he just one bulleted you in the face. And like, I don't know, it's kind of a funny thing in my opinion, so I like the shotgun.
Let's start off our social media section by asking that one very important question. And what's a better place to do it than the PUBG Europe League?
Ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful death, and Rita, a big congratulations. Amazing, thank you so much. Congratulations!
And when it comes to IEM Sydney, it seems that Henry G is always a welcome guest in Australia.
Sadakist and Henry G. Let's see what they're doing over there. Look at that smile. How's it going? Have you missed me? Uh-oh. Oh, here it comes, Henry. Here it comes.
Listen, hey. Save it for when he smashes Chad on the stage, okay? I'm just gonna say, like,
Come on, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
You already lost 3 Australian teams. You're not gonna get a win. I'm sorry.
This crowd's weak, Matt. This crowd's weak.
And also, a Reddit user named FaZe Leas noticed that there was a Mouse Sports member present at IEM Sydney Grand Finals after all. You know, I feel like a lot of people, after seeing Liquid in the finals, were probably doing something similar to this, looking for something else to do, because the curse of Liquid always coming second seems to stay true. But hey, Liquid kids. But I think the fact is, with Liquid making through, people were wondering, would this finally be the chance for them to take down a final for themselves? Let's find out.
The crowd had made their way into the arena for the last series of IEM Sydney 2019. It's been a long and winding journey, but the best of 5 grand final between Fnatic and Team Liquid was ready to kick off. Fnatic kicked off the proceedings on Cash with 16-year-old prodigy Brawlin leading the way alongside the old guard of Crims and JW. 9 whole rounds went Fnatic's way before Liquid answered back with a pair of their own, but the Swedes made sure to close out the map 16-10. Despite the first map going Fnatic's way, the series turned out to be much closer than expected. Liquid took home Overpass in a nail-biting 16-14 thriller.
Oh, there he is, and that's all they had to do. Find the tracers, and they'll get map 2.
And followed it up with a win on Mirage.
Just a matter of time before he gives this one up. No frag to be found on Team Liquid.
The series score was now 2-1 in favor of Liquid, but Fnatic took home Dust 2, which brought the final to the deciding map, Inferno. Liquid came flying out of the gates, ready to break their second-place curse, and closed out the first half 11-4. Fnatic's top performer in the final, Crims, tried his best to rally a comeback. But Liquid's in-game leader Nitro brought his team to match point in round 24, denying Crims a much-needed clutch.
Deserved championship point for Liquid.
And finally, Team Liquid could call themselves champions. IEM Sydney 2019 became the team's first win in 11 grand final tries, as well as their first win in the second season of the Intel Grand Slam.
Just like the curse of the Bambino that lasted 86 years for the Red Sox, Team Liquid have finally broken their curse, which lasted in 8 premier tournaments, finishing second place in each one. But finally here in Sydney, they've broken that curse and they come out of the tournament with their heads held high. Also, this can pretty much do it here for the World of Esports this week. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and also tweet to us with the hashtag World of Esports about any tournaments, any games, or any players you would like to see here on the show. I've been Jason Kaplan. Thanks for watching, and well played.